And welcome to another day in New Gloucester, and thank you for tuning in to Redeeming Times. I told you for the last couple of days I talked about how we want to untangle the judgments. And the first was the judgment of the lost, being judged for every idle word, every thought, every deed, every action being brought before God and exposed, and every man judged according to his works and being cast into this eternal lake of fire. And then on the second day, I was telling you about the judgment seat of Christ, and all of us will stand before that bema seat, and that little saying says, to dwell above with the saints above, the saints we love, that would be glory. But to dwell below with the saints we know, now that's a different story, and that's a reality. And so therefore I said that something's got to take place, and I mentioned they used this illustration of a stringer, that the wood, hay, stubble are going to be burned up, left behind. They're not going to enter into that judgment at that place of the bema seat with the reward ceremony. But the gold, silver, and the precious stones, those things that are done with the right motives and virtue, will be the ones that enter into glory. So, something has to change, though, when we get there. And something takes place. How can we be like this here and so different there? Well, the Scripture says it something like this. He talked about the time when Paul was caught up into the third heaven, and it says here, but I do know that I was caught up into paradise and heard things so astounding that cannot be told. He said, when I was caught up into heaven and I saw those things that I saw, it was beyond description. It was beyond anything that I could describe. It was not the unlawful thing to say, but it was things that he just couldn't describe it. It was so great. So things in heaven are so different than they are here. And our carnality will all be left behind. That sense of we want somebody to get his is not going to be there in heaven, because we're not going to get ours either. And when we know that we've been forgiven so much, and therefore he'll be forgiven, we won't hold anything like that. So something greatly different has changed when we leave this earth and go into heaven. First of all, we leave that old sin nature behind. It's all gone. Secondly, our focus is altogether different. Most everyone here remembers on September 11th. Remember where you were. And you remember watching the planes hit the towers, and the towers came down, and we saw the destruction that took place. We remember, and all the issues that we seem to have with one another, for the most part, the issues we had with the neighbors, we forgot all about them, and our whole attention became focused upon those twin towers as they came down. Well, in a positive sense, when we enter into this next sphere, when we enter into the new heavens and the glory that we shall receive, we're going to change our focus. Our focus will be totally captivated by him. And Deuteronomy tells us that we're to love the Lord our God with all of our heart. We'll be so consumed with our love for him. He'll be the first of our thoughts, our mind, our attention. We'll be totally captivated by Christ, and he'll be our all and in all, and we're going to be like him. We're just going to be so in love with him. And if we love him, what does he say? We're going to love others too. So our love for him is going to be so grand. And his attention will be the first focus of our heart and our mind. We're going to pay attention to him, not everybody else. We'll be focusing on him. Our love is going to be for him. And in light of that, when we're there, it'll be different. We're going to see him. We're going to be like him. And all the filth and the stuff of the earth in our life and our carnality is going to be left behind, the wood, hay, stubble. And only the gold, silver, precious stones, things of virtue are going to be brought on. And we're going to be welcomed into glory. So at the judgment seat of Christ, it is going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm looking forward to being there. I really am. And I am so thankful that all the stuff, the hidden things of our heart, the idle words, the secret sins, have all been paid for in Jesus Christ, and will all be left behind. And only that which is virtue and that which is good is going to get there. But you know, I do think perhaps that there's another point. The point is, I think perhaps there may be a sense of regret, that of time wasted. I wish that I had done more. When I see how good and how great it is, I wish that I had done more. It's a little bit like when you stand at the graveside, or near the grave when somebody hasn't yet passed but they're about to, or or at the graveside, they begin to say, boy, I wish I had given more time to my family, to my loved ones, to those I care for. Today, perhaps today, give a little more time to your loved ones. Tell them you love them. It'll be worth it. My prayer and heart desire for everybody in Gray and in New Gloucester, in this surrounding area, is that God will bless each and every one of you according to your needs. And I challenge you always to remember to cast all your care upon Him, because He does care for you.